Why do I hate college? Simple. Because the further I get into classes, the less interest I have in them. But why don't I enjoy what I used to? In the book Paper Towns by John Green, one of the main characters also struggles to find herself. Here's a little bit of background on Paper Towns for you. Margot and Q, the two main characters of the story, were best friends growing up, but eventually towards high school they started to drift apart. Margot went on to be part of the popular group. Q was studious and stuck with a close group of friends. Without giving too much away, after an eventful joyride around town that reignited the friendship that was Margot and Q, Margot explains that she feels she doesn't fit the model set forth by her friends, her family, and her parents. She talks about how everything is supposed to be a plan now. A plan that's a continuation of a plan to further along another plan in a never-ending chain of continuous plans. If that seems confusing, let me put it this way. Margot doesn't want to fall into a rut of trying to fill models that were already set forth. She even goes as far as to say that she's looked too closely, that she's looked at the grime on the sports car, the little bit of bad on things that are good. What I mean by this is that she's looked so far to see the defects that distance her from enjoying what she wants. By comparing this to a city, she says that a city can be beautiful when you're looking at it from a distance, say from a skyscraper. But when you look up close, you start seeing the cracks and the dirt and the graffiti, and you start to forget how good the city looked before. We as people can fall into the same pattern, and for some people it's not as much of a challenge. But for other people, what can we do? How do we get out of this? Well, we can follow in Margot's footsteps. We can take a chance to change the pattern. We can go on an adventure to places we've never been, to places we have been before, or places we've never even heard of. We can sample the scene, try new things so you can learn yourself to a new extent. Maybe you go to Florida and you try water skiing. You might love water skiing, or you might hate getting water up your nose. Anyway, for most people, the people who haven't done water skiing before, you're trying something new and you're finding something new out about yourself, and you've discovered yourself even more. And when you've done that, revisit the question, who am I? And what do I really like? And when you know that, grab it, hold on, and make that happen. And if there comes a time where you decide you don't like it, that's okay. Change. That's okay. Change it again. Because if there's anything that we've learned here, it's not to shy away from change. Don't let change scare you. It's easy to find yourself becoming less than what you want, just becoming a number. A grade in a class, a student in a class of 1,000, a class of 1,000 in a school of 30,000. A number that says you can drive, a number that says you can have an apartment, a number just on a piece of paper, in a paper town. But it doesn't have to be like that. We can all be like Margot. We can welcome the new and exciting with open arms. And while some may cringe, others will gain the experience of a lifetime or even a new life to live. But as Margot says, there are 1,000 ways to look at it. Maybe the ships sink or the strings break, or maybe we're grass. Our roots so interdependent that no one is dead as long as someone is still alive. We don't suffer from a shortage of metaphors, is what I mean. But you have to be careful which metaphor you choose, because it matters. Thanks for watching. And now life has become the future. Every moment of your life is lived for the future. You go to high school so you can go to college so you can get a good job. So you can get a nice house, so you can afford to send your kids to college, so they can get a job, so they can get a nice house, so they can afford to send their kids to college. It's a paper town, with paper houses and paper people. Everything is uglier up close.